Hi, I'm Jessica Jones, and I am a director in the Global Health Division at Chemonics. Today, I wanted to talk about my leadership project, what did and didn't happen this year, and where we go from here. So my leadership project was examining an aspect of diversity in leadership that I didn't see talked about all that often, which was diversity of personality type. This was stemming from several experiences that I had witnessed in my career of high-performing individuals passed over for promotion or leadership opportunities because they didn't exhibit certain leadership traits. They were told they weren't team players, they were not leadership material, they didn't have gravitas. And I was trying to figure out, okay, what's happening here when you have high performers who are then still not seen as leaders? And my theory was that even though we have made great strides in trying to expand the definition of who is a leader and who looks like a leader, we maybe have not done as much in global health in thinking about what are the many different traits that make up leadership, and are in fact are often defaulting to that model of a Western white male businessman as a leader. And so qualities of being bold, being assertive, being aggressive, being highly visible, being ambitious, being someone who makes a really good pre-recorded message or can do a TED Talk. All of these were being held up as leadership. But when looking at global health and what actually leads to successful outcomes, a lot of the softer skills are what has been very successful in actually achieving the outcomes we hope for. So relationship building, humility, empathy, team management, all of these skills that we see that are necessary for working in partnerships, working in coalition, transferring wealth and power to other areas. And so I had a theory that there was an opportunity here for us to really re-examine what we thought a leader was and what those personality types are, and can we expand that? I started this project really from a process standpoint, and that's where the big pivot was. I started with a goal of really working through our human resources team, working on our standard operating procedures, our hiring processes, trying to go at this from a sort of programmatic, very stiff and rigid standpoint of, well, how can I change the way that we hire? How can I change the way that we define leadership? And of course, it turned out that we don't have a definition of leadership, and most organizations don't. And in spite of incredible goodwill from Chemonics in supporting this project, that really just wasn't the right way to go for our division, especially a small division that sits in a much larger company with really well established and entrenched architecture for how we think about interviews and hiring. So instead, I made a pivot towards mentorship. And this is where I've landed with this leadership project and what's been really exciting and a really fun part of this journey. I identified 3 individuals that I work with in different capacities who to me exhibit very high performance, but not necessarily those classic white Western male leadership characteristics. So people who are really strong relationship builders, highly organized, highly competent, very deadline oriented, goal oriented, people who were really good at building partnerships, really good at mentorship, really good at partnership or developing research relationships in the field, but who were maybe less polished in front of a client or quieter, or were less likely to put themselves forward or didn't see themselves as highly technical. And I broke that into 2 parts. One, I think, is classic mentorship, which is helping those individuals really sort of see themselves as leaders and access opportunities. But the part I just wanted to talk about more was what I think of as mentoring up, which was opening opportunities and really, I think, defending these people to some of the other people in my professional orbit when I would hear things like, well, I don't think that they're a leader, or I don't think they have those qualities. Really trying to focus on results and push back on that and say, okay, well, what result didn't we get that you can point to that you think that this person is not supporting? What was the outcome that didn't happen? And what I found was that in not every instance, but in a lot of instances, when someone was saying so-and-so doesn't exhibit this leadership trait, what they were really saying is that they didn't approach this problem the way that I would, and that makes me uncomfortable. And I actually think that that's a fantastic thing for global development and global health. We need that diversity of approach and diversity of problem solving. And if someone didn't approach a problem that the way that someone else would, but got to the result that we wanted, that's what we need to be focusing on. And I think that's actually what makes a leader. It's the people who get the job done. So where we go from here, I will continue to work with these individuals and will continue to try to open doors for them. But I think I would like to, in the future, try to capture some of these lessons learned. And maybe then I'll start approaching more from a process side and saying, okay, is there a way that we can think about capturing those outcomes and those goals, and the different ways that we reach them, and really embedding that into how we think about and how we evaluate leaders? I just wanted to take a quick minute to really thank my team at Chemonics and my leadership at Chemonics for all of their support, as well as WomenLift Health, and of course the broad array of stakeholders that I've had throughout this process and journey and who have been so supportive. Thank you.